This presentation expands on previous discussions about diphthongs and vowel clusters. It introduces the categorization of diphthongs in RP English, focusing on closing and centering types, an exploration of falling diphthongs and their role in vowel prominence. It's important, however, to first consider the fundamental rhythm that underpins spoken language, how speech patterns organize syllables and timing, since this provides essential context for understanding pronunciation and emphasis. In many languages, such as Japanese, French, and those of the Pacific family, the rhythm of speech gives each syllable roughly the same amount of time and energy. This steady rhythm is called syllable-timed speech. For example, take this sentence. In a syllable-timed rhythm, it may be spoken like this. I am going to the market to buy some apples and oranges. With each syllable evenly spaced, like a beat. Da 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 da. However, natural English rhythm often gives attention and length to certain syllables. Some are shortened or reduced, while others are said more quickly or softly. So in fluent English, the same sentence might sound more like, I'm going to the market to buy some apples and oranges. Note how some syllables are more pronounced, while others are shortened or blurred. I am going to the market to buy some apples and oranges. This difference is a direct effect on how diphthongs are shaped and timed, which vowels feel strong or less clear in a word, and how our speakers can adjust their pacing to sound more natural in English. Now that we've reinforced how rhythm shapes vowel clarity and movement, we're ready to take a closer look at how diphthongs behave within that rhythm. We already know that a diphthong is a glide between two vowel positions within a single syllable. But not all diphthongs glide the same way or serve the same function. Some close upward, some center inward, and others fall or relax as they move. Each of these diphthong categories interacts differently with timing, prominence, and vowel reduction, especially in connected speech. Recognizing these patterns helps us control vowel energy, shape syllables naturally, and reduce the feeling of rushing or overworking the sound. In received pronunciation English, diphthongs are classified based on how the tongue moves through the entire duration of the sound, transitioning smoothly from one vowel position to another. This results in two main categories. These diphthongs involve the tongue rising toward a closer, higher vowel. The movement goes from a more open vowel to a more closed one. For example, the diphthong in face starts with a mid-front vowel that moves upward to a front close E vowel, producing A. This involves the tongue beginning at a lower, more open position and transitioning to a higher, closer position, making it a closing diphthong. A, face. Similarly, the diphthong I, as in price, begins with a more open, lower tongue position, R, and moves to a higher, close position, E, near the hard palate, classifying it as a closing diphthong. Another example is O, as in go, which begins with a mid-schwa, and glides to the close U vowel, demonstrating an upward-backward tongue movement, characteristic of closing diphthongs. O, go. Think of it as your tongue moving to close the resonating space between it and the hard palate. In centering diphthongs, the tongue begins in a front or back position and moves toward the central vowel or the schwa, thereby centering the sound within the mouth. For example, the diphthong I, as in near, starts with the tongue near the high front vowel E, as in neat, and glides toward the central area, specifically the schwa, as in near. The diphthong air, as in square, begins with the tongue at the mid-front air position and moves to the schwa position, air, as in square. The as in pure, the tongue starts in a near close back position of U and again shifts to the center of the mouth, the schwa, producing as in pure. This movement from the more specific vowel position to a central position characterizes the centering diphthong. Think of it as the tongue starting at a tense peripheral position and then relaxing to a centered position in the mouth. So far, we've discussed how the tongue moves within a diphthong, an articulator that shapes a specific sound outcome. Another crucial aspect is, which part of the diphthong do we emphasize? That is, make louder, longer, and more distinct. This involves the transfer of acoustic energy within the diphthong. Understanding this transfer helps us see how emphasis or prominence is assigned to different parts of the diphthong, shaping its acoustic qualities and how it is perceived. A falling diphthong occurs when the emphasis, or the loudness, length, and clarity, shifts from the first part of the diphthong to the second. In other words, the initial sound starts strong and prominent, then falls or moves toward a less emphasized, more relaxed ending. This pattern affects how the diphthong sounds in speech and can influence the overall rhythm and intonation of a sentence. For example, in many British accents, the word mouth often features a falling diphthong, where the emphasis is on the start and the sound glides downward toward a softer ending. This demonstrates how diphthongs shape the flow and musicality of spoken speech. Why is this important? Recognizing and producing falling diphthongs makes for a more natural and clear sound, especially when working toward a neutral accent. It also helps in understanding spoken English, as native speakers often use this pattern to convey emphasis, emotion, and sentence structure. Take the word coin. It contains the diphthong oi, which can be thought as two vowel sounds. The first part, or, a mid-open, back, rounded vowel, similar to the or as in law. It's pronounced with the mouth slightly open and the lips rounded. The second part, I, a near close, front, unrounded vowel, like the I as in win. The tongue moves upward toward the roof of the mouth, and the lips remain relaxed. Because the emphasis or loudness is strongest at the start on or, and then diminishes as it moves toward the softer, more relaxed I at the end, this creates a sense of the sound falling or descending, which is why we call it a falling diphthong. Think of it as a strong start that trails off in energy. That's why it's called falling. This idea of prominence isn't about the tongue's movement, but about the emphasis and acoustic qualities of the sound. Understanding prominence helps us sound natural and clear, especially in RP English, where vowel quality and emphasis convey meaning. It helps us avoid flat or monotonous speech, a common issue for new learners of English who tend to give equal weight to both parts of the diphthong. It helps us enhance intonation and flow. Stress and prominence patterns add melody and rhythm to speech. Once we understand that diphthongs have parts that are more emphasized or prominent, it becomes easier to see how vowels are stressed within whole syllables and words. For example, in the word details, both E and A are stressed vowels, but they are stressed differently. The E in D is a clear, simple vowel that is held longer and sounds strong. The A, as in tails, is a diphthong which contains two vowel sounds, but the emphasis is mainly on the first part of the vowel. The second part acts more like a glide out. Details. Details. Understanding this helps us control pronunciation, maintain the correct rhythm, and speak more naturally. It also engenders confidence when speaking that is easier to understand. So, in summary, knowing where and how vowels are emphasized within diphthongs, syllables, and words allows us to speak with better rhythm and clarity, making speech sound more natural and expressive.